How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to review Dave Ramsey's baby steps for getting yourself out of financial trouble. Now there are 7 steps to this and I'm going to review them and give you my opinion on these. Step 1, amass $1,000 of emergency fund. Step 2, debt snowball where you pay off all your debts. Step 3, accumulate 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Step 4, put 15% of your income in a Roth or pre-tax retirement accounts. Step 5, college funding for children. Step 6, pay off your home early. Step 7, build wealth and give. Now, as a precursor of looking at these steps, it does seem like it'll work, but it seems to be tailored for a certain kind of people that are living paycheck to paycheck to begin with. There are a lot of products that he sells on his website, including books or video tutorials. I feel like for any of this, it may not apply for every single person. For example, it won't apply to me or anybody else that save easily 10 or more % of their income every single month. This is probably something that's implied because you won't go and look for some program that will help you get out of debt if you habitually save a lot already. Now let me go over each step and give you my take on it. The first one is $1,000 of emergency fund. A lot of people do not even have a couple $100s of emergency fund. So saving enough of this needs a method in order to accumulate $1,000 even. This is really done through not buying frivolous things and looking at your recurring monthly expenses and try to reduce those as much as you can so that you can save a little bit each month. Now, should you try to save first or should you try to do that Babylon method where you save 10% first, pay yourself first, and then spend the rest instead? Now, which one to do is up for debate and really depends on your own personal finance skills. The second step is debt snowball method. Now, there are 2 methods of paying off your debt. You can either pay the lowest interest rate debt first, disregarding how large the balances are, or you can do the debt snowball method where you look at the smallest balance first, disregarding the interest rate on those things and just pay off the smallest thing. Now, why does the debt snowball method work? It's because it plays on your psychology, because if you pay off the smallest loan first, then you're going to feel like you accomplished something. I have a very good example on myself where I was trying to pay between a student loan versus a mortgage. Which should I pay first? A mortgage is a lot bigger. A student loan is quite smaller. However, the interest rate on the student loan is smaller. So should I just put everything in the mortgage and I'm going to keep on seeing the student loan for many years to come? Or should I disregard the very low interest rate on it and just pay it off anyway? What I realized though is having a loan paid off, especially a student loan, really takes off a mental burden off. To me, this is worth, I don't know, 1%, 2%, 3% APR a year. So even if you have a debt that's larger and has a higher APR, you might want to pay off the smaller loan first just so that you can remove the mental burden off of yourself. Now, this idea of concentrating your finite and limited financial powers reminds me of this scene from Star Wars.
Concentrate all your fire on the nearest starship.
Yes, sir.
Whereas you can imagine, if they never concentrated all their powers on one single ship, none of them is going to be shot down and all of them would end up flying away. This is kind of like paying off your many loans, where if you do not concentrate all your powers on the single closest one, you might end up having 10 different loans. Yes, maybe they might be paid down a little bit, but at the end, you're still going to have 10 separate loans, and this is a really big mental burden. The third baby step is that you save 3 to 6 months expenses. I can understand why you want to save a little bit first and then pay off your debt. Because if you don't save that $1,000 first in the first baby step, you're not going to have a tiny little bit of emergency fund, because then if any tiny little thing comes up, you're going to end up having to dig into credit cards to pay it off. So after you have that little bit, you end up paying all your debt first. However, finishing baby step 2 might take a really long time, and having $1,000 of emergency fund might not be enough. The debt snowball might take you 1 year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years in order to pay it all off. So as soon as you have that $1,000, it might be good to keep on accumulating a little bit on top of that. The fourth baby step says to invest at least 15% of your income to your Roth or pre-retirement savings. Now, all of this did not consider employer matching, which is basically free money. So I think if you have employer matching, it might be good to match that as the number 1 baby step, because you can essentially do the matching, get free money, which is, 1-to-1 sometimes, and then you can immediately take it out of your 401k or whatever, and you would get extra money on top of that. For example, let's say you put in 100 pre-tax dollars. The employer does 1-to-1 matching, so you get $200 at the end of the month. Let's say you need that money, so you take it out immediately. You pay, let's say, 25% income tax. You also pay the 10% penalty. You'll still come out ahead with more money, more than $100 worth. Number 5, it says college funding for children. Sure, you need to fund your children's college if you have children, of course. Number 6, pay off home early. And I do agree with paying off your home early. However, some people might feel like they should not tie up their capital in paying off their home. You have to note that if you have the cash to pay off your mortgage, and instead, let's say you don't do it and then you put it somewhere else, it's kind of like borrowing from the bank at the APR of your mortgage. So whatever you do with this, you better be making more money than what the bank would have charged you. For example, let's say you owe the bank $100,000. You have $100,000 sitting around. Your APR for your mortgage is 4%. So simplistically, you're paying $4,000 in interest to the bank every year because you're keeping this mortgage. Instead, you don't pay the bank, so you better be making this $4,000 in the stock market, in bonds, or whatever. However, if you hold on to this $100,000, there's a chance that you might lose the principal, in some stock market correction, or even if you buy bonds, the initial principal could lose value. So you're taking a risk here in order to get that little bit of extra delta. The number 7 step is build wealth and give. I'm not too sure about the specifics of this internally, but you could go and max out your 401k, your Roth, and also your HSA. A little secret here is you can contribute to your 401k with after-tax dollars. There's also a thing called the Roth conversion ladder if you plan to retire early and you want to access some of that money in your 401k before you turn, 65. So I hope you enjoyed this review of Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps with my take on it. Don't forget to give me a like on this video, comment down below. Let me know what you think of the debt snowball method. If you're interested in supporting my channel, check out my Audible link down in the video description below where you can get a free audiobook. And I don't know if Dave Ramsey has audiobooks that you can get on Audible or not. I also have a Patreon over here where I give perks such as help with your credit score or help with your finances. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel over here and click that bell icon next to that subscribe button so that you get a new notification whenever I upload a brand new video. Thanks for watching.